Hey, welcome back to the channel guys, this is Rajoshi and today we're going to do something different, something badass, something like a movie poster. And then we're going to add some titles and then let's see what we can end up with. So without any further ado, let's get started. Welcome to this wonderful world of Affinity Photo 2. The first thing we're going to do here is actually play with the exposure sliders and create some normal thing, just balance this and that. So let's get started. So once we bump up the exposure, increase a lot of blacks in this photograph because I want to make it look much more punchier, much more crispier. So we increase the black point and increase the contrast of the photograph. And also to balance it out, we will increase the brightness and increase a lot of clarity to the image. Just take a look. This man looks badass. So here we increase a lot of clarity. We'll increase somewhat of the vibrance, little bit of saturation, and we are pretty much done editing this photograph in this stage. So we will develop. So we are done with creating the basic panel, basic plate for the photograph, the base one, and then we are going to create the template. That is, so we'll just create new and preferably choose a social media post of 1080 by 1350 pixels. That is the standard 4:5 ratio for Instagram posts. So we'll create it, and then we select the layer, press Ctrl A, Ctrl C. And then on this layer we press Ctrl V. This will paste this thing and then we resize it to match our needs. So here we are. This is the composition part of the poster creation. So I want this man to cover up this much space, and here we may have a hard line which you cannot see, but I can see clearly here. So to move that, we'll just create a mask and then choose a big soft round brush with black as the foreground color. Just erase this part. Subtle, that there was a very little difference, so it really doesn't matter that much. So this is the base plate of our movie poster in which we are going to work, and then we add some drama to the image, and we'll do that by using radiant light PNG. Just like that. Perfect. So we added a haze to the image. Once we are done here with editing this layer of overlay, the next thing we're going to do here is add a curve to add the color to this image. So for that, press Ctrl or Command M and then choose the red slider. I want a lot of reds in the highlights but not so much in the shadows. I want to create a complementary color palette here. So for that, lot of reds in the highlights but not so much in the shadows. Alright, then let's go to the next channel, that is green. Here I want the shadow to be greenish but not the midtones. I know this is complicated, but whenever you are applying color to a particular image, just remember that it is under your control. You can do anything you want. It is under your creative choice and your freedom. So always do whatever you want. So I'm doing just the things that look suitable to my eyes. You can follow up your own steps and that will work absolutely fine. So let's just go to the next slider, which is going to be blue in this case, and here increase the blues of the shadows and decrease it from the highlights. Then we can do here a couple of things, like you can add a dust panel here or dust to cover up the bottom portion of this image, but first we need to darken it. So for that we are just going to create another curve, take down the brightness, press G and create a gradient from bottom up. This will darken the bottom portion of this image, and then we are going to add glow. For that we are going to use Gaussian blur. In this Gaussian blur panel, increase a higher value, choose preserve alpha and then pick screen or lighten. I'm going with lighten for this one. Now as you can see, there is some weird effect in the face going on here in the shadows portion to be very specific, and if you want to remove that, just click on this gear icon on the top right corner, that's called blend options, and here take it out from the shadows ever so slightly, just like that. And you see we have a glow to this image. This was the before, this is the after. Just take a look around the edges, before, after, before and after. Now once you are done with editing this layer, you can go for much more creative choices, and let's try something else. Let's try to add a layer of dust. So we have dust overlays here. This is the dust overlay pack from Affinity store. Oh my god, what happened? Damn it, my system crashed. Please, please, please. Thank god we recovered so much of that. Let's go. Let's get started. Let me fix up the camera. Okay. So sorry for that. Now let's just keep on working. So we are going to add. Let me save this file first. Okay. Thank god, I was so scared, so scared. Okay. You know, actually, you should never do things like that. You should always save files. I often do save files, but this time I just absolutely forgot about saving the file and it crashed. And by the way, this is the first time it crashed after Affinity 2.4 update. So I have to check on it. Okay, let's go. Let's add a dust layer. Something like this. You don't have to be absolutely accurate here. Anything could work. And then change the blending mode and see what suits the image. I think this one looks good. I think lighten looks cool here, and then remove it from the shadows somewhat, not absolutely, and then choose the brush with black as the foreground color and paint it out from regions you don't want. You see we have added this grain here. Now I will just decrease the flow to around 40% and remove it once again. Alright, so we are done with adding this dust layer, and the last thing that comes to this image, the last thing of all, that is adding a title which creates the major portion of our film poster. So I have already created this template beforehand, and it lets you create any sort of movie title with the required fields. I know so many things are missing from this poster because I didn't want it to make it look much more congested. So just simple couple of things. So we select this thing, we press Ctrl C, and then we paste it over here on top of everything. Alright, so let's save it once again. Once we are done editing this thing, let us just create a couple of things here. First, the first thing that we are going to do here is add a tagline, and let's give the movie a name first. So the name is going to be let's say Coming Home. Coming Home. Alright, so this is a nice movie title. Sweet. Let you be the producer. So a subscribers film, a subscribers film, a tagline, story from the West. Story from the West, and let's color it black. Okay, story from the West. This should be smaller right here. Let's pick a different font. And we are done. Just take a look at this movie poster. I mean, it looks cool, but we can do always a couple of things here, like play with the colors here. So let's just color this portion and this thing. This requires a title. This requires a much more grunge to this image. So for that we are going to add a layer panel, make it 3D. Okay, So this was a part of creating our movie poster. I hope you enjoyed the session. Now let's get back and let me take a couple of glass of water, because it scared the shit out of me. Let's get started. Let's get going. I hope you enjoyed. So we'll meet soon in the next video. Until then, take care, adios and goodbye.